New video. So I've got 3 5x5s here. 2 of them are MGCs, and then I've got the Valk here. This is kind of an honorable mention. This won't be really seen till later on, so we're mainly just going to compare these two. The main difference that I think is between these is the turning from a similar level, but the feels are very, very different. So the MGC has kind of a, what do you want to call it? Feels like there's more space on the inside. Like when you turn it, you can feel like the pieces are nice. The contact is nice. But there are some slight catching issues that I'll run into. Let's see if I can't reproduce one of them here. Like right there, that's one that'll happen quite often. It usually fixes itself, but sometimes it gets pretty far and you have to kind of force it to go back. But it's not too hard to fix. Believe the MGC 5x5 is about $23 at the cubicle. It's not crazy expensive. Out of the box, it is very slow. You have to do a lot of work to break it in, or use lube. I use D&M and Mystic for this one in particular, and then I put this cool little logo on it. This is actually for sale, so if you want to buy it, the link will be in the description. Now its competitor, the Valk. The Valk 5 is a little bit different. The turning feel is much more compact, even though they are the same size. I do feel that the Valk fits nicer, feels nicer anyway. That's the one thing I don't like. There are some instances here, oh, well, that was one of them, where the corner piece will get caught on the inside here, like this. It'll get caught and it won't turn. You have to kind of like stop your turn. It's more apparent when you're doing stuff in the back. I don't know if I can reproduce it. Oh, there, right there. It'll get caught like that. It doesn't take too much work to fix. It's a little annoying. But the feel is pretty cohesive between all the layers. The thing that I prefer with the Valk over the MGC is the pieces, like they look closer together. So if you look at them, there's bigger gaps on the MGC versus the Valk. So I prefer the Valk just because it looks a little nicer. Like obviously looks shouldn't be everything. Performance is better. The green, like the color shades are kind of nice. They're pretty similar, except for the green and the white almost kind of looks like an off-white on the Valk. But these cubes are pretty similar, it's just their price points. The MGC being $23, it's used by more people, and the Valk is, I think, $51. Now, like with most of my puzzles, I got this secondhand, so I only ended up paying around $30 for it. So yeah, both of these cubes are pretty good. You can get them both at the cubicle, or you could buy this one in particular. This one's doesn't have a ton of soles on it. It's just been lubricated and broken in. I mean, it's not crazy, but it's definitely better. I did some pretty extensive lubrication to it. Now, for those of you wondering, what's this about this 5x5? Well, this is a Maglev MGC 5x5. So if you open up the center cap, there's actually Maglev in the core. I don't know if it's gonna be, there it is. So that's a Maglev ring. It's using the MoU Maglev system. So it does turn faster, but because it's got the Maglev, it also has to be tension tighter, so your corner cutting is limited. So like 2 pieces barely cuts, it gets caught, versus on my setup one, it's still kind of, it'll cut. It'll get caught every once in a while, but it'll cut. Prefer the Maglev over the standard. Not in particular. I do like the speed of this one. It's a nice warm-up cube, but when you get into some of the faster algs like Parity, like if you're not turning accurately, you'll get some pretty weird lockups. So what I'm thinking about doing with this 5x5, since this is just going to be like my warm-up cube or something, thinking of installing this magnetic core in it, because this core was out of a Yutong 5x5. It was kind of a smaller core, but the core kit, this core kit in particular, doesn't fit on the stock MGC 5x5 core. So if I just swap it out for this one, it should work the same. Overall, These are all solid picks. I don't really recommend this one because it takes a lot of work to modify it. In fact, this was sent to me by a fan of the stuff that I make. So, which one do I prefer? Well, let's see while I do some solves. So yeah, that's my review on these. I definitely prefer the Valk, but the the MGC 5x5 is a good option. It's a good budget option. The thing that you will want to note though is the Valk takes more force into your turns because it's got stronger springs in it. It's hard to describe it because it's kind of a minimal difference, but you'll notice it throughout the course of your solves. Turning in a vacuum, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Alright, so I think that's just going to conclude the video. I didn't do a solve on the maglev one because I already have cold hands. I'm not going to try and control this. Alright, I think that's going to be it. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and hope you stick around for future content.